There's a word I made up for here in Maine when it's so cold that the snow sounds like baking soda. And that word is baking snowda. Oh, that's amazing. Most mornings it doesn't start on the first try. My car also has a wood stove in the back of it, I'd like to point out. All right. Welcome back to Slower. If you're new here, the last video got like 100K plays, and we doubled the amount of subscribers pretty much, so welcome. Let's update you on the cabin. Since that last update, I got a visit from the town. As you can imagine, and as I kind of suspected, what I'm doing isn't 100% legal. But back it up a little bit. I'm winded from walking in this snow. When I started this project, I threw the last bits of money I had into purchasing the land. And I was essentially homeless from there. And so I started applying for a bunch of jobs and stuff around here. And it just didn't work out. So I thought to myself, well, self, you could do nothing or you could just start building things. So I just started building things. You know, and then it's kind of caught up to me now. It's not to say that I didn't expect it. Either way, the town was very nice, and in fact, this structure here is completely legal. And my cabin, actually, which is just behind me, you can't see it through the trees much, that may also be legal. It's just I have to still figure it out, apply for like the correct things. I never applied for permits. I know. I've built things before in the past or had them built and had permits before, so I knew. But again, I had no money. Oftentimes I was choosing between buying nails and buying food, and I always bought nails. Today, I'm gainfully employed and making good money and stacking cash. I am stacking cash also for some things that have to do with this property that would potentially validate what I'm doing, you know, make it completely legal. And I can't really share that yet because it's not happened, you know, but I do believe it will be happening. I'm saving the money for that. And then other than stacking cash, I'm not actually stacking it at all. I put it directly in the bank, and then I put it directly into either Robinhood or Acorns app. And I'll put a link below for Robinhood and Acorns if you don't use that. They're just simple investing apps, and you know, the market's about to plummet, but you can make money off that if you know how. So I'm trying to multiply my money while I can, diligently saving, investing, and not spending on things like, you know, food, drink, weed, adventure. I'm just staying in. My girlfriend and I are hanging out, and we're just doing our thing. Look at this tree; it's still here. Spooked. The other thing that's true is that I did a bunch of things wrong. The thing that probably weighs most heavily on my mind is that beneath me I put a vapor barrier made of plastic, 6mm visqueen, underneath the subfloor in between the frame. Meaning that water gets collected in there, and then I could punch holes through it and whatnot and let it drain out, but there's still a bunch of plastic in there that will mold, rot. People have said this in the comments, and they're not wrong, you know? I didn't know anything that I was doing at the time, and like I said, I was poor. At least one of those things isn't true anymore, so, and I'm also learning, so I think that it would be probably a good idea for me to start completely over, ? There's other things I could do. I could jack up the whole structure and rip out the visqueen from the bottom. I don't know. Is it worth it? Because here's the other thing that I think is absolutely true. If I actually watch what I've done this year with this land, most of my time has been spent on purchasing, clearing, and getting the property ready. Then I built my little shed, and I really slapped this up in a couple of weekends. So I think now that I'm not such a broke-ass bitch, I could probably just throw a little money into a nail gun, probably a nice chop saw, and knock this thing out with proper headers the first time, way better build, and a much better foundation. Or the real purpose of this whole thing is to get rid of my mortgage, right? Realistically, I'm also realizing that I'm probably not going to live in a space this small, and also Probably not in New Hampshire. Sorry, New Hampshire. If you're wondering why millennials are leaving, it's because of your draconian cannabis laws, your horribly high taxes on land values, and just in general that you're probably about 15 years behind, like pretty much everything. Like everything. The jobs here are pretty bad. You can go over the border to Massachusetts or Maine, and you can find way better jobs. That's just the facts. I live like a few miles from the border. Anyway, what's the purpose of this land? The purpose of this land is to get rid of my mortgage, right? And so more and more I'm realizing for me, that means passive income. So I think that I'm gonna turn this into either an Airbnb or like a camp space of some sort. And my outhouse is 100% legal. 100% legal, according to the town. You can even crap in there all day, even though it's like essentially into the watershed. Hey, we're not going to do that. We're going to have composting toilets. It's going to be much better, but you could legally because my outhouse has been there long enough that it's 100% legal. So I do have a lot of things here that are still for my benefit, you know, a lot of work to do, probably more work to do than I did if I hadn't done anything wrong. Definitely more work to do if I hadn't done anything wrong. But you know what? I learned to use a hammer this year, and like obviously I've used hammers before, but like I really know how to use hammers and nails and saws now compared to what I did before. I know how to use hand tools, and I think that that's a good skill that I wanted to learn on myself, on my own, without, you know, I don't know. So what can I complain about? The other thing is if we're gonna like tally up the score, I bought the land for $7,000. It's worth 22, and I've already technically can't speak, made money off of it because that 100,000 views that I got off of the last video, my CPM is through the roof for this channel. So I'm making money every month passively off of it. I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm pretty happy even if I have to tear down this whole beast behind me and start over. I think that a lot of people might hear that as really disheartening, but I'm not disheartened. Guys, I'm recording this on my phone. I've been looking for my camera for the past like couple of weeks. I left it right there. Before you get too worried, it's a piece of crap. Oh, still works. Lens even looks fine. Oh.